The evening mist rolled in from the sea, cloaking the abandoned settlement in an ethereal shroud. The air was thick with a sense of mystery, as if the very land itself held its breath, waiting to reveal its secrets. Broken fences reclaimed by the earth stood as silent sentinels. Vines and wildflowers had woven themselves through the wooden slats, creating a tapestry of nature's resilience and the passage of time. A chill wind whistled through the crumbling chimneys, the only sound disturbing the eerie silence. It was as if the wind itself carried whispers of the past, tales of those who once called this place home. This was Roanoke, a place etched in history not for its triumphs, but for its utter and inexplicable disappearance. The ruins stood as a haunting reminder of a colony that vanished without a trace, leaving behind more questions than answers. This is the story of the lost colony, swallowed by the mists of time, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and enduring mystery. The enigma of Roanoke has puzzled historians and intrigued storytellers for centuries. The year was 1590, a time of exploration and discovery, but also of uncertainty and peril. The New World was a land of promise, but also of great unknowns. John White, his beard now heavily laced with gray, stood on the very shore he had left 3 years prior. His heart was filled with hope and trepidation, eager to see the faces of his loved ones once more. He had returned to Roanoke Island, eager to reunite with his family and the colonists he had left behind. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but the thought of home had kept him going. But instead of the joyous welcome he had yearned for, an unnerving silence greeted him. The village was eerily quiet, the usual sounds of daily life conspicuously absent. The once bustling settlement stood deserted, its inhabitants vanished without a trace. The air was thick with the weight of unanswered questions, and the ghostly echoes of a community lost to time. It was a time of exploration and ambition when Queen Elizabeth I reigned over England. The New World held the promise of riches and adventure, drawing intrepid explorers like moths to a flame. Sir Walter Raleigh, a favorite of the Queen, secured a charter to establish a colony in this new land. And so, in 1585, over 100 men, women, and children embarked on a perilous journey across the Atlantic, their hearts filled with a potent mix of hope and trepidation. They landed on Roanoke Island, a sliver of land off the coast of what is now North Carolina. The island, though beautiful, presented its own set of challenges. The land was unfamiliar, the native tribes wary, and the supplies brought from England woefully inadequate. Life in the fledgling colony was harsh, a constant struggle for survival against the elements, hunger, and disease. John White, the colony's governor, found himself thrust into the role of mediator, negotiator, and leader. He oversaw the construction of homes, the cultivation of crops, and the fragile peace maintained with the native Algonquin tribes. The settlers relied heavily on this peace to survive in the New World, but the colony struggled, its survival precariously balanced on a knife's edge. The harsh conditions, unfamiliar terrain, and unpredictable weather made daily life a constant battle. Supplies dwindled, forcing White to make a fateful decision. The colony's future depended on his ability to secure more resources. He would return to England seeking reinforcements and provisions, hoping to bring back enough to sustain the colony through the coming months, leaving his family, including his newborn granddaughter, Virginia Dare, behind. The decision weighed heavily on him, but he knew it was their only hope. The journey back to England proved perilous. The Atlantic Ocean was treacherous with storms and rough seas threatening the voyage at every turn. War with Spain delayed White's return for 3 agonizing years. The conflict consumed resources and attention, making it nearly impossible for him to secure passage back to Roanoke. When he finally set sail for Roanoke in 1590, his heart ached with a growing sense of foreboding. He feared what he might find, or worse, what he might not find. As his ship dropped anchor off the coast of the island, a chilling sight greeted him. The settlement was deserted. The bustling community he had left behind was now eerily silent. The houses stood empty, some dismantled, their timbers repurposed for unknown constructions. It was as if the colonists had vanished without a trace. The colonists were gone, vanished into thin air, leaving behind no clear indication of their fate, leaving behind only a haunting silence and a single, cryptic clue. The mystery of Roanoke had begun, a puzzle that would baffle historians for centuries to come. Carved into a post of the settlement's fence, White discovered a single word: Croatoan. No other message, no sign of struggle, just that one word, etched in the wood, a silent scream into the void. Croatoan, the name of a neighboring island, home to a friendly Native American tribe. Was it a message, a destination, a desperate plea for help? The mystery of the vanished colonists has captivated historians and amateur sleuths for centuries. Theories abound, each attempting to piece together the puzzle, to shed light on what befell the inhabitants of Roanoke. Some believe the colonists, facing insurmountable hardship, sought refuge with the Croatoan tribe, their disappearance a testament to their resilience and adaptability. The disappearance of the Roanoke colony is a historical enigma that has spawned countless theories, each more captivating and chilling than the last. Was it the kindness of natives, the brutality of conflict, the slow hand of starvation, or something altogether more sinister that sealed their fate? The lack of concrete evidence has allowed speculation to flourish, turning history into a breeding ground for chilling tales and haunting possibilities. Let's delve into the most prominent theories, each a thread in the intricate tapestry of the unknown. Perhaps the most hopeful theory suggests that the colonists, facing dwindling supplies and a harsh winter, sought refuge with the Croatoan tribe. John White had established relatively peaceful relations with the tribe during his time as governor. Could this goodwill have extended to offering sanctuary to the struggling colonists? The carving of Croatoan on the fence post could be interpreted as a message, a beacon guiding White to their new home. This theory is further fueled by reports from later expeditions of European captives living among Native American tribes. Could these captives have been descendants of the Roanoke colonists, their lineage absorbed into the native population? DNA analysis of modern-day descendants of both the Croatoan tribe and the Roanoke colonists has yielded intriguing, though inconclusive results, keeping this theory alive. However, the New World was not a utopia of peaceful coexistence. Conflict between European settlers and Native American tribes was not uncommon. The colonists' arrival on Roanoke Island likely displaced indigenous populations, creating tension and resentment. Could this resentment have boiled over into violence, leading to the massacre of the colonists? The lack of any skeletal remains at the settlement site argues against a large-scale attack. However, it's possible that the colonists were killed and their bodies disposed of in a manner consistent with Native American burial practices, leaving no trace for White to discover. The late 16th century was a time of unpredictable weather patterns, leading to widespread crop failures and famine. The Roanoke colonists, already struggling to survive on meager rations, would have been particularly vulnerable to such environmental hardships. Could a prolonged drought or a particularly harsh winter have decimated their food supplies, leading to starvation? Furthermore, diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza brought over from Europe ravaged Native American populations, who had no immunity to these foreign illnesses. It is conceivable that a similar outbreak could have swept through the Roanoke colony, wiping out a significant portion of its inhabitants. The remaining survivors, weakened and desperate, may have then integrated with the Croatoan tribe or perished in their attempts to find a more hospitable environment. The mystery of the lost colony of Roanoke continues to intrigue and baffle us centuries later. Established in 1587, the colony was one of the first English settlements in the New World. However, when a supply ship returned just 3 years later, the settlers had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only cryptic clues. Despite numerous investigations, excavations, and scientific analyses, the fate of the colonists remains an enigma. Archaeologists have unearthed various artifacts, but none have definitively explained what happened to the settlers. Theories abound, but concrete evidence remains elusive. The tantalizing clue of Croatoan, whispering from the past, has yielded more questions than answers. This single word, carved into a wooden post, suggests a possible connection to the nearby Croatoan island and its native inhabitants, but no definitive link has been established. Did the colonists find refuge with the native tribes, their lineage woven into the fabric of a new world? Some historians believe that the settlers may have assimilated with local tribes, adopting their customs and way of life. This theory is supported by accounts of European traits observed in later Native American generations. Were they victims of violence, their existence erased by the brutality of a bygone era? Conflicts between European settlers and Native American tribes were not uncommon, and some speculate that the Roanoke colonists may have met a violent end. Or did they succumb to the unforgiving grip of hunger and disease, their story a cautionary tale of the fragility of life on the edge of civilization? The harsh conditions of the New World, combined with limited supplies and knowledge, could have led to their demise. The truth, lost to the passage of time, remains elusive. The changing seasons and the relentless march of time have buried many secrets, making it increasingly difficult to uncover the true story of Roanoke. Perhaps one day a new discovery, a long-lost diary, or a breakthrough in DNA analysis will finally unravel the mystery, revealing the fate of the lost colonists. Advances in technology and new archaeological methods continue to offer hope for solving this age-old puzzle. Until then, their story serves as a stark reminder of the capricious nature of history, where entire communities can vanish without a trace, leaving behind only whispers in the wind and a legacy of enduring mystery. The lost colony of Roanoke remains one of the most fascinating and haunting enigmas of our past.